Welcome to Crowbar Gym, Hansel Conroy. Alright, today we're going to talk about pre-exhaust. Alright, we're going to pretty much be demonstrating a bicep, okay? And it's going to be a little bit different on the machine because the reality is the machine gets, we get to do different things with the machine that we don't normally do. This is called an ARX machine, adaptive resistance exercise, okay? The one beauty about the adaptive resistance exercise is that we use the negative effect, meaning the descending effect, okay? Or they call it, you have the concentric and eccentric, right? So just to make it clear, it just means the negative, okay? That's when you're going downwards in this contraction rate, okay? Let's talk about pre-exhaust when it comes to the biceps, okay? I think it was, I forget exactly the guy's channel, but it's a pretty good channel, Nick Strength and Power, that's what it was. He actually says, and I thought it was a really good example of how I would think it's people gravitate towards certain things. So for example, powerlifting. And a lot of powerlifting, or even in a lot of strongman work, a lot of them are not really doing curls in this manner. They're usually doing more repetitions of heavy, what you would consider to be some kind of a rowing exercise, some kind of pulling up in this, in not a flat hand, but a neutral hand, okay? And even Doug Brignoli, okay, a bodybuilder, he wrote a great book on I guess it would be, better angles for the body, because he has a degree in that. I bought the book, it's a great book, and he pretty much talks about how your body, technically, effectively moves more efficiently depending what angle it is. So with that said, what are we doing to pre-exhaust for the biceps? Well, if you're doing a lot of back work, for example, and you're doing a rowing and then a pull down, you're technically doing already bicep work, okay? So that's, in general, by sheer accident, you're actually doing a pre-exhaust. And I see that a lot with a lot of people who exercise, especially if they're doing an all-body kind of workout. But the reality is that if that's what you're doing, then then you're technically missing the boat in that end. A good way to program, specifically if you want to grow, or if you want to grow more muscle or get stronger. If you're just trying to lift from point A to point B, then as heavy as possible, of course. You could do that with high intensity training. You have to technically cut down on the time on the load. All right, that means the positive needs to be a little bit quicker. You have to contract at the top, and then it'll descend, maybe like a 2 or 3. And then the whole idea is to get the weight up. You can do heavies. Okay, heavies work, but then make sure that you contract at the top. It means when you swing, okay, you don't want to overly swing, where you're using your whole body like it's some kind of circus trick. All right, you can hold at the top and then contract and then try to descend it. Of course, you'll need a buddy for this. You can do negatives only. Okay, that's a really good way of also growing arms if you have the genetic potential to do so. All right. Also, too, with just being stronger, if you're doing this for sports, you are definitely going to have a better effect when it comes to sports in general. When you're especially if you're doing, like, for example, I like jiu-jitsu, so a lot of pickups, a lot of hooks, for example. You can get pretty fast lifting more weight. If you're trying to grow muscle, the hypertrophy, meaning time on the load, is technically what you want to get the effect of. So if you've been doing a lot of heavy lifts, then you need to time under load the muscle. So of course, negatives only will work. What is it? Static holds. Okay, it's either timed or something of that nature. All right, that also works. And then of course a pre-exhaust. A pre-exhaust meaning that when you technically do a movement, right, and you're doing a bicep curl, and you have to do multiple rounds of it. It usually means that and you still have all that energy before you go to hit what we consider in high intensity training true muscular failure, because you want to get to true muscular failure without actually doing so much endurance kind of training, right? So I'm hitting a lot of key points, but pretty much what you want to do is time under load, and you want to activate the back, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to technically really hit the biceps instead of doing multiple sets on the biceps. what we're really going to do is we're going to do a pull down, okay? So we're going to do it like, and pretty much like a chin up style, all right? And then that's going to take care of the weight portion, meaning we're going to, if we have 200 pounds and we're pulling down, then that technically your muscle's already pulling down 200 in the bicep curl. And especially if you do it at the right angle, you can get that to really, really hit the head of the bicep, okay? Then you want to get into the hypertrophy, okay? That means the time under tension, okay? And you can play with that as much as you want. This is an experiment. You have to kind of test it out on who you are. You know, most people, you know, traditionalists, high intensity training people will say, you know, just a 2 and 4. Other people will say, no, you need to do tons of statics. The idea and the basic, really the basics, okay, is hard work, lots of tension, and a balance between more weight, okay? And of course, we can't forget, we need to feed the body. We need to technically eat, all right, to fuel the body for the workout, okay? You can't try to cut and try to get a hard workout. It doesn't really work that way. So so I'll talk about that a little bit. You know, it's a subject on its own, but that's for the biceps, okay? And this also can be used to rehab your biceps too as well, if you do it with a very, very slow static and with very low weight, okay? That can also rehab the biceps as well. All right, guys, for exhaust, all right? So we're gonna do chin up, okay? Then we're gonna go right to the bicep, all right? Just like that. So, do the countdown. Yep, gotta strap in. Now it's gonna pick you up. Oh, that was brutal. Alright guys, as you can see, we did a pull down, and then after that we went right into the bicep curl, and pretty much emphasizing the negatives first. Okay, so I'm going to take let you see the data, see what we got. So as you can tell, I'm a little winded. So that's usually how it goes when you do a lot of these negatives and positives. And my score actually went up even higher, so that's pretty good. And I don't even have to do much. My time was only 45 seconds. Very, very short time under tension. And I'm really feeling them like if I did 10 rounds of this. It's pretty, it's definitely tasking. I also got my heaviest lift out of the way too as well. So we're gonna see the data here. All right, so it's been a while since I've done the pull down in this manner. And as you can see, all right, I'm actually gonna compare it to the one I did last time. not by much. Now I did change the grip. So I got like a plateau, and compare to that one. Yep, pretty good. So I'm still making some good gains. Not big ones, but I've been doing this a long time, and that's expected. So that was my bicep curl. Or, yeah, I'm sorry, that was my pull down is what I meant. Now we're going to check out the bicep curl. So it's very easy. It's just sifting down here. And there you go. There we go. Let's compare that one. Not bad. So my negatives are awesome. And I exhausted it pretty good. And these peaks are the negatives. And usually when you see these smaller muscles, they tend to go out pretty quickly. So I'm like around 40 for my positives here, and that's expected because it's a pre-exhaust. Let's see what it was around that time. Slowly making those gains. So we're doing good. So we're still climbing, not very high, but it is expected. That was a shorty. There we go. So yeah, definitely a big difference. So here's my max. That's my max, 66. Better. Output, 84. And my intensity was a lot better than the last time. Now I did do this one prior. Still better. That was kind of just to test out the machine, see where it was. No difference.